Okay, we'll return from closed door session. And Mr. Attorney, do you have any announcements from closed door?
No announcements. Direction was given to staff. There was no reportable action in closed session.
Okay, before we begin the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to ask for a minute of silence for a past employee of the city, Steve Cioni. He was a 33-year employee, and he was our mechanic for that many period of time, and he just passed away. So ask for a 30-second moment of silence, please. Thank you all, appreciate that. Next up is Pledge of Allegiance. It looks like we have some helpers here to help us. Welcome.
You can just start.
Thank you for inviting us to lead your meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. We are students from Milford School. Saying the Pledge of Allegiance helps form our connection with our country, the United States of America. When we say the Pledge of Allegiance, we honor the flag and everything it represents.
We are a country with a diverse population. Saying the Pledge of Allegiance instills a sense of pride for all people. We say the Pledge of Allegiance to start our day at school, to begin official meetings or ceremonies, and we honor the flag at special events like ball games. We would like to lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand.
Salute.
Pledge.
Thank you.
Kiddos.
Haley? Very much,
Thank
Haley.
you.
Thank you very much.
Good job, bud.
Good job, well done, thank you. Do we have any changes or additions to the agenda?
We do not, Mr. Mayor.
All right, no recusals. Entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
Whoa, okay.
Did
Call
you
the
leave
roll,
your car
please.
running?
Who motioned that, I'm sorry? Weber and Smith?
Yeah,
Okay.
got it. All right. Go ahead. Got some good, you need to vote.
Oh, I thought I turned it on.
Is it not working?
Technical difficulty.
There you go.
Perfect. Motion passes
All right.
with 6 yeses, 1 absent.
Do we have any no presentations or proclamations other than what's in the
Consent?
consent calendar? All right. Public communications, any cards or non-agenda items?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we do have a couple tonight. We will begin with Rhonda and follow that with Beverly DeLucci.
Welcome, Rhonda.
Hello, everyone. Let's start with tonight. I'm becoming very, very popular, and it's beginning to worry me. Extremely. I'm out there by myself. Halloween night, I'm not allowed shower, not allowed services. I went to the police station after I filed a complaint on Mr. Chief over here with the police station and you as well. I have not had a shower since the 21st of last month. So I went over there to wash my feet in a little nozzle they have out front. I am met with the first fireman, Cal Fire. I'm not allowed to get these names because they don't want to give them to me for some reason. This gentleman is very, very polite, the first one. The second one, I do believe, is the chief or captain or whatever it is you want to call. He knows me by name. I don't pay taxes. Yeah. This place belongs to people that pay taxes. And you know what, Rhonda? You're a liar. Who? And then we have a police officer that comes over to where I am sleeping. And he informs me I am trespassed from the police station. My service of safety paid for by the people. Okay? Now I'm trespassed. Went back, was going to go back today for another complaint. But I was told Friday night that on no uncertain terms am I to do so. Okay. So now my freedom of speech has become very personal to a lot of freaking people. City Council included, where Rhonda, you are not going to ruin my day. Rhonda, leave this office or you are going to jail. Rhonda, have we not said this before? Have we not told you over and over again you are accosting me? Damn you. You are terrifying me. Resistance. You wonder what we are resisting.
Rhonda, keep
That.
your voice down, please.
I know.
Thank you.
You all have a wonderful night while I am out there in the freaking freezing rain, scared to freaking death because my freedom of speech just became too damn personal.
Thank you. Up next, we have Beverly DeLucci, followed by Bill Spear.
Beverly, welcome.
Hopefully, I don't go into the events. Don't find me funny, because I am not.
Rhonda, thank you very much.
Have a great night, all.
Hi, good evening, council members. Thank you for having me. I am Beverly DeLucchi. I'm the current president of the Exchange Club. And I originally came here tonight to ask for a reimbursement of the permitting fees to close Montgomery for the Veterans Day Parade. However, Pat has informed me that he's already made a staff report and will be presenting that at the next chamber meeting. So I'm basically up here just to tell everybody to please come to the Veterans Day Parade next Tuesday. We have two amazing veterans that are both from World War II and the Korean War. One is 96, one is 100. And it's not going to be too much longer that we get to say these things. Our veterans are aging out. So the Exchange Club is very honored to hold this every year. We've done this for over 50 years. So please come, and I want to remind people who have children, we do have Give a Kid a Flag to Wave program going. So cool. Everybody, including adults along Montgomery, will be waving an American flag on behalf of the Exchange Club.
Thank you.
All right? Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you. Weber, sorry.
I just wanted to say, Beverly, thank you for stepping up and being such a good ambassador. Mm-hmm. You know, really, it's truly evident of the work that you're putting in with the Exchange Club. Seeing it grow, you know, and seeing the work you guys are doing, it's great. It's really good. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Next up?
Up next, we have Bill Spear.
No. Welcome, Bill.
In a prayer, the verse is out of 1 John chapter 2. It was verse 6, but I'm going to read 5 also. Bless your word. But if anyone obeys his word, love for God is truly made complete in them. This is how we know we are in him. Whoever claims to live in him must live as Jesus did. In a prayer. Father God, we thank you for your word and the power of your word. Lord, we pray that you would help us to be more like Jesus, to see the opportunities that you give us to make a difference. Thank you for our city council, their faithfulness, taking time from their families and coming to make this city a better place. Thank you for our police chief and the police force that you are adding to. It's amazing what you have done in the last year in our police force, and we just are grateful and thankful. For our firefighters and fire department, we pray your continued blessings and protection upon them. For all the city workers and all the service groups, the Exchange Club, for their years and years and years of faithfulness, for the chamber and all the churches, the Hope Center, as we get into wintertime, and those who are serving the least of these, the rescue mission, so grateful and thankful for them. Continue to use them, Lord, to bring shelter and resources to those who are in need. We pray a special prayer for Rhonda tonight, that you would make a way for her, help take away that anger and pain. And Lord, we know that you do have a plan for her and all those out there who are living out in the cold, that are resistant to resources. And Jesus, you said you are the way and the truth and the life, and you make a way when it doesn't seem like there is a way. And I just pray by the power of your Spirit, Lord, that you would put your hand upon them, bring them to their senses, and bring them into a place, Lord, that our city's making ways for those that are in need. Bless and anoint in Jesus' name.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, did I say amen?
Is that it? That's it. All right. We're moving forward to council announcements and reports. Council, any announcements to make? Seeing none? Oh, go ahead.
Yep, sorry.
Councilman Weber.
Yeah. Development Coalition, the 10th, which is next Monday at 5:30 p.m. We'll be in downtown.
Okay.
One way or another, we're going to be in the city of Harrisburg. But I'm really excited for this. What they do and how much food they do. And I was so impressed with what they do. And I was just going to make a post about it, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to put a post, but I'm going to invite them and have a conversation about this. So, and then it's part of the thing because their resources are being stretched right now. Snap benefits being affected where they are with the government shutdown going the way it is. And I was there today, and I was watching what they were doing. They were bagging up meat and rice and all this other stuff. Trying to stretch what they had as far as they could. So I would encourage you guys to come down and participate in one of those community development coalition. 5:30. But it's a group of neighborhood newspapers, viewers. It's a group of people that see the yes and want to go after the yes. And I just encourage you guys to come. Some great people to go about, some great work in the community. And I'm honored to work side by side with all of you. So I invite you guys to come down. It's a great time.
And bring a can of soup.
Yeah.
Yeah, give. You have a
Bring a can of
giving,
soup.
giving box or anything?
Food?
No, I mean,
Can,
he can take back with him.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing, well, that's another conversation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing another one. We got a toy drive coming up, but we'll talk about that next council meeting.
Councilman Johnstone's in the queue.
Thank you. I just would like to let the community know that Orville Upwards Basketball, who used to be partnered with the Nazarene Church, Jordan Crossing Ministries has taken over, and we are moving forward with Upwards Basketball this season. And we've partnered with South Orville Community Center and with Nelson Avenue School, also called the not Nelson, but
Burlington?
Central,
Yeah.
Central School has, they've both graciously provided their facilities. So Upwards Basketball is happening this year. Tell your friends. We have almost 200 kids registered. We can go to 300. So tell all your friends and family members to get them signed up. It's at OrvilleUpwardsSports.org. I'm excited.
That's cool to hear. Vice Mayor Smith is in the queue.
Yeah, Councilwoman Johnstone and myself. Councilwoman Johnstone and myself, we did the tour of the Hewitt
yeah.
Park. And
Beautiful.
What an and of course, Brian was there and several, and of course, Tim, our city engineer, was the, one of the brave souls leading the tour. And showing off some of the new equipment. And we even had a couple of kids doing some test driving of a merry-go-round and a few other things. But I'm telling you what, that is just a park to be so proud of. The staff has done an amazing job. And I guess sometime in March will be the grand opening. In there, I'm sure a date will be given. But what a testament to our community and to all those that work so hard. I know Councilwoman Chrissy Riggs, who's no longer with us, but a thank you to her and all those that have made such an amazing effort to bring a wonderful piece for our community to enjoy. The pickleball people were there in mass, and they're super jazzed with all the pickleball courts there. So I think it's just kind of hitting all the high points for our community. So I'm really looking forward to it. And then the water feature, there's just so much that's involved with that. I think $7 million plus park. But you know what? Every dollar has gone a long way to make an amazing opportunity for our community. So I just want to say, I can't wait to see it. Thank you.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of you, Councilman Smith, I agree. The park is amazing. I love the fact that it is handicap friendly in that the merry-go-rounds, the slides, everything that they are making is user friendly for wheelchairs, those kinds of things that can fit. So all kids can be a part of it. But I also have to give kudos to Brian for trying out the long metal slide. And I got a picture of him so I can send it to everybody. And
It'll be on Facebook.
yeah, it'll be on Facebook shortly.
Now, was
so.
he the first one on the slide?
He was the second one on the slide.
Oh, okay.
Who was the first?
One of our pickleball,
Oh,
one of our pickleball.
somewhere there's probably a plaque for that or somewhere.
I did go down it. It is fun. You go faster if you don't wear jeans, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right,
Slow
cool.
jeans, fast non-jeans.
Okay, appreciate that. I'm going
going
to take a
down
second
that
to
thing.
mention that we had an event Saturday night downtown here, and very well organized. It was the Mexican cultural event, and the mariachi band and all the dancers just filled the whole downtown with it was amazing. I'm going to suggest next year they have bleachers because there were so many people there. The crowd was tight, and it was really unique there. And I'm going to give kudos to the ladies back there. Very well put together thing, and I think it was a nice addition to the community to spend that much time. And the vendors were great, the food was good, and what better can you have on a Saturday night? Thank you all. Any other council announcements? If not, I'll look to the administration. Department heads?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, I have a few updates for the group. We, last week, we had our federal lobbyists were in town, the Ferguson Group.
Oh, yeah.
So, had some good dialogue with them, and I think they're gonna be given the federal lobbyists, the Ferguson Group, and Paul Yoder and his firm are gonna be giving an update to full council in December, but just, had some good dialogue. They're getting a good pulse on what the issues are that the city is facing, and we're really narrowing down that focus. And in the near future, we're going to have some meetings with our delegation down there telephonically, and then ideally, many agencies go back to DC once or twice a year, and they try to advocate actually in their offices, and I think it goes a long way. So something for us to consider in the spring if we want to send a couple of folks back to DC to actually meet with our delegation back there and talk about the challenges that Orville's facing. I think it does go a long way for them to get a feel for what our needs are, and then when funding opportunities come up, we will be high on their list. We will be meeting with our state lobbyists next Wednesday, so I've sent you all an email. If you'd like to have an opportunity to meet with Mr. Yoder, please let me know. The government shutdown, I know that was mentioned. Vice Mayor Smith, I believe, mentioned that. The two things that I'm hearing a lot are the SNAP benefits, or was it sorry, Mr. Weber. the SNAP benefit program, and there are some rumors out there flying around that they're going to fund that with half of November. I think it's over $9 billion for the month of November is what the SNAP benefits cost, and they have about $4.5 billion in contingency. And some articles that you read will say they're using that contingency to fund half of this in November. Some are not. So I did reach out to our federal lobbyist before the meeting this evening, and he said there's still no official word on that. But as food programs become available, if this continues to drag on, we'll be sure to push that out on social media, anything that we hear. It certainly is it's a big deal. We have, I think, 40,000 folks on the SNAP program in Butte County. It's a big number. The other thing that it's impacting, I think folks should be aware of, is travel. And I've heard this from a few folks who are traveling. This is something to keep on everyone's mind as we get closer to the holidays. Typically, there's weather shutdowns at airports, but if there's TSA, a lot of the workers are not getting paid right now. So as people start to stop showing up for work since they're not getting paid, what they're having to do is they're having to actually shut down airports. So it's just something to think about as you plan for your holidays in the next few weeks. So we'll keep everyone appraised if we hear any new developments, but as of right now, there's no end in sight for the shutdown. That's all I have.
Looking at Amy back there, what do you think?
Yes, Mayor Pittman. I do have a quick update on Esperanza Village.
Oh.
They are seeing an average of 20 people night to night, and then right now there's 15 people in the pallet shelters in actually Esperanza. They're expecting them to fill up a little bit more as the weather's changing.
Cool. Good to hear. Anything for finance? We're good? The other side of the room here. Mr. Bells is ready to go.
I just want to provide you some numbers for the month of October. We closed 24 cases, opened up 37 cases, 1 weed abatement case, towed 13 abandoned vehicles, 3 building violations, abated 11 locations of graffiti, and that's through code enforcement, not city works. If you saw my report or not, I don't know if you saw my report or not, but a lot of graffiti was abated over during the nice weather. You can get a lot of stuff done when it's 70 degrees outside and sunny. 2 multifamily cases, 8 single-family cases, 2 substandard housing cases, 2 commercial cases, and another vacant business signed up for a vacant building monitoring program. Our crews have been very busy, abating a lot of encampments.
Yeah.
I believe we did over 30 again in October.
Amazing.
And our Safeway Home program, we got an individual back to Iowa where he had employment and family back there. He'd been on the streets in Orville for about 6 months.
Wow.
And it was nice to get him connected with family. And the graffiti on the bike path, the walking path there that goes from bridge to bridge, hit a lot of locations along there. And the bridge, again, will be back there, but cleaned up all the loose gravel that was along there, a lot of the down trees, down tree limbs and stuff. So it looks nice, and took about 2.5 days, but, in about a month, we'll be back out there again.
Very cool.
Taking care of it, so.
Yeah.
Not a
Nice
problem.
report.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Chief Police.
I think the only thing I've got is kind of a shout out to State Parks and Highway Patrol for giving us a hand over the Halloween weekend to include some November 1st extra patrols on some grocery stores in case there was going to something happened, and just CHP and State Parks just ready to jump and help out. So I really appreciate that from our law enforcement partners. Other than that, I'll have more next month.
Well, I appreciate the heads up to some pending item that might have been, so it's glad to see you guys got ahead of it.
We
Appreciate
jumped
that.
ahead of it, and I don't know if that was
Yeah.
deterrent, but no problems. So
Yeah,
it's
that's good to
nice.
hear.
It's nice to hear.
Alyssa.
Well, you'll receive the primary, like the big public works update next meeting, but did want to just make sure you were aware that we are moving forward with our Montgomery Roundabout project. So we'll be working with Duke Sherwood Contracting on that, and we have a tentative notice to proceed for November 17th.
Cool.
So just so you are aware, there will be some mobilization. We'll be working through traffic control plans. I'll make sure that you see those ahead of time because it is a very popular intersection.
Very much so. Let me add to the work that you folks did on Boynton along the drainage ditch to save the road from collapsing. I didn't even know that was going on. I drove up and I said, man, what a great idea. I mean, to use that riprap rock on there and reinforce that, that's been a long-term problem for many years. I'm glad to see that taken care of, because that made a big difference to that road. And I think it was all done with city staff, as I recall.
It was, yes. Yes, we had a couple of folks, Jacob Glick, he's actually our newest EIT, kind of spearheaded that. And then Brian Downer also helped tremendously as far as being the operator to kind of pull it all together and make it happen quicker. We didn't think it was actually going to happen that fast, but he was able to track down equipment and get the rock delivered, and it did happen rather quickly.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's one of my common roadways, and I was a little shocked it was being done, but I was tickled to death to see it done. So thank you. Patrick, last but not least.
I don't really have anything to report. I have a lot of fun things that I'm working on that I'll look forward to reporting about soon.
Okay, thank you. All right, then we've concluded that. Next item is, I believe, consent calendar. Anyone on the consent calendar want to pull an item or just motion to approve?
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
Second?
Call roll, please. Do we have any cards on this at all before I jump? Okay.
Consent calendar passes 6-1, absent.
All right, thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, I think we have 2 public hearings slated for this time.
Okay. I was going to have the resolution read real quick.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to ask Councilman Goodson to read a resolution that we just approved. If you might, well.
Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity. The City of Oroville Resolution Number 9414. The City of Oroville recognizes November 2025 as Homeless Youth Awareness Month. Whereas the California Department of Education reports there were 286,853 students experiencing homelessness statewide, including some 1,798 K through 12 students in Butte County enrolled during the 2023 and 2024 school year. And whereas approximately 25% of youth exiting foster care will experience homelessness, and whereas natural disasters and lack of affordable housing have exacerbated youth homelessness action across rural California, and whereas a very high percentage of homeless youth have been physically, sexually, and or emotionally abused by their guardians and are frequently re-victimized, and they are exploited while living on the streets and in shelters, and whereas LGBTQ and young adults are at a 120% higher risk of homelessness when compared to their peers, and comprise approximately 40% of the unoccupied homeless youth population. And whereas due to the lack of stable housing, homeless youth face great difficulty in accessing and stabilizing and succeeding in school, reducing the likelihood of successful graduation. And whereas the citizens of Oroville, California, are key to helping prevent youth homelessness by acting as mentors and role models for youth, guiding them towards available resources, productive choices, and creating opportunities for youth to successfully transition to adulthood. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Oroville City Council passes and adopts the proclamation of the 4th day of November 2025, and this resolution is signed by David Pittman, Mayor.
Would you make the presentation? I think we have someone here to say accept. There they are.
And you are from?
On behalf of Voices United, working with School Ties and the Butte County Office of Education, my group is here to, bring awareness and as much support and advocate for the homeless youth as much as possible. And
well, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Okay, as we have a timed item, we need to jump to our public hearing. That's item number 12. We'll open the public hearing to discuss the 2025 Community Development Block Grant application. Amy.
Good evening, Mayor Pittman and council members. The 2025 Community Development Block Grant Notice of Funding Availability was released on September 30th, with applications being due in January 30th of 2026. I prepared a PowerPoint presentation detailing the changes to the NOFA and the CDBG program, but also outlines the funding limitations, eligible activities, and the leadership staff's recommendation. However, since I did publicize the public hearing, additional information has been received, and so I will explain that a little further when we're in the PowerPoint regarding our recommendation. All right, so a little background of CDBG and the City of Oroville. The City of Oroville is a non-entitlement jurisdiction, and so we do not receive a direct allocation from HUD for CDBG activities. Every year, this Housing and Community Development issues a NOFA, and we apply competitively with all the other non-entitlement jurisdictions in the city or the state of California. The purpose of the CDBG program is to provide decent housing, a suitable living environment, and to expand economic opportunities primarily for low-income, moderate, and moderate-income persons, which include families, households, and individuals. CDBG's objective is to benefit low and moderate-income housing, which we refer to as LMI, to aid in the prevention or elimination of slums and blight, and to meet the need of having particular urgency, which is basically like a disaster. The estimated timeline for this NOFA is, again, it was released September 30th. The portal, will open December 1st, 2025. Applications are due January 30th, 2025. And they're anticipating that the award letters will come out in July. And then I'm going to find mine. It looks like the rolling basis starting August 2026 is when the standard agreement executions would happen. And then the expenditure deadline is 2 years and 9 months. I do want to note that because of the federal shutdown, all of the training has been delayed and it was canceled. So I would not be surprised if they do extend the application due date based on the fact that we haven't had any of the training that we typically have with NOFAs, but nothing's been announced. The state's definition of low and moderate income is under 50% of area median income is low income, moderate is under 80% of area median income, and for the state in 2025, the family of four is $96,600. However, in Butte County, that moderate income is $75,100 for a family of four and $46,950 for low. Changes to this NOFA, they decided to do a set-aside for applicants that have not been awarded any CDBG funds in the past 5 years. We will not be in that set-aside. We typically ask for and compete competitively every year. What they're going to do is they're going to set aside $6.5 million specifically for jurisdictions that haven't to put their applications in competition for that funding. And then we'll go with all the rest of the jurisdictions. Applicants will be eligible under a competitive application process, and they're going to, based on whether they're projects or housing or public services. There are no over-the-counter applications this year like last year, which was very challenging and stressful. We are not doing that this year. Everyone's competing across the board, and all applicants are due in January. The allowable activities are public services and planning are in one group. Programs that include housing, economic development, code enforcement are in a third group, and then projects that include public infrastructure, public facilities, and housing program projects are in another, and they've updated the scoring system. This is the funding allocation breakdown of approximately $27 million that is up for grabs in California for the non-entitlements, and their 7% is for administration all across the board. Public services will get about 15%. It's $4.4 million. Planning 2.9, programs and projects, 9.25. Like I said, the set aside is, well, actually it's 6,750,000. And it looks like they plan to do 4 awards. And then they also have a Colonia set aside and a non-federally recognized tribe set aside. Each jurisdiction can apply for up to $3.6 million. And that includes public services or planning with a maximum of $300,000. Programs for like housing, rehabilitation, first-time homebuyer, economic development, 1.5 million, and then projects, 3.3 million. These are the eligible categories, and we have to do them in this way. We could do 1 project and 1 program and 1 public service or planning, or we can do 1 project, 2 public service or planning, or 1 program and 2 public services or planning. So these are some of the requirements that I just wanted to outline for basically a ready application. Housing element compliance, which we are in compliance. Americans with Disabilities Act and physical accessibility requirements apply to all of our construction and infrastructure projects. Milestones, all CDBG funded activities must be implemented in a timely manner, and we set milestones during the application process. The most recent single audit must be submitted with the application. We need to have site control if we're doing a public facilities. NEPA review will be complete, and then all public facilities are subject to a 5-year no change of use restriction. And they're requiring a recording against the property. And then projects must be shovel ready. Project examples, I just wanted to give you an idea of what they're talking about for projects in supportive housing. This would be a multifamily rehabilitation, an acquisition for real property for multifamily projects, public improvements in supportive housing, which would include new streets, curb, gutter, sidewalks, and sewer laterals, and then general projects, so public improvements other than in supportive housing or economic development, public facilities like fire stations, homeless shelters, senior centers, public infrastructure, sewer, storm drains, sidewalk improvements, street improvements, and acquisition of property. Economic development projects would be a commercial building acquisition or construction or rehabilitation, and then public infrastructure in support of a for-profit business. Program examples would be single-family rehabilitation and or for energy efficiency, homebuyer assistant loans, homebuyer counseling, code enforcement. However, this doesn't work really well in the fact that for every code enforcement dollar you spend, you have to spend $2 for housing rehabilitation. So you have to tie the two together in order to spend the funds, and it would be very difficult to manage and restrict. So business assistant loans, micro-size assistance for low and moderate income business owners of fewer than 5. Public service examples include senior services, youth services, employment training, services of victims of domestic violence, neighborhood cleanup, food banks, transportation services, and more. Planning, the basic comprehensive plans, community development plans, functional plans, studies about neighborhoods, activities, planning for projects and engineering. So if we knew that we were going to have a project down the road, we can apply for engineered drawings or architectural stuff in this phase. So this was our original recommendation from leadership group meeting. We were going to request $3.6 million. Of that, we wanted to request the maximum amount for a public service of neighborhood cleanup of $300,000. We also wanted to do a housing rehabilitation program for $500,000. And then public infrastructure for storm drain improvements of 2.5, and then general admin was 23. But since then, we realized that the 2024 application or agreement was awarded and executed. So that means that that application comes into play with their 50% expenditure milestone. And since it was just awarded on the 17th of October, we have not spent 50% of any of our funds. And we have a project, we have a planning, and we have a public service. Additionally, we have a PI-only application that's funding our first-time homebuyer program. That is a program, and that plays into this also. So what that means is, as of today, we cannot apply for any funds. However, we've already expended 95% of our project funds for the fire truck and fire engine. But we haven't received the sub package for that in order for me to request reimbursement. And they know this and they're trying to expedite it. And then I have to submit the reimbursement and they have to go through 2 levels of approval on their end before they consider it expended. They feel that we'll be able to hit that milestone for projects. So based on that, we do not see how we can meet 50% for public services. We do not see how we can hit 50% for programs. And I've tried all different kinds of things. What if we disencumbered some of our PI funds and tried to do this? What if we did this? And I'm getting no on everything. So at this point, our recommendation would be to apply for the 3.3 million max for storm drain improvements project, and then the general admin. I think I have another slide.
Any questions?
Well,
folks?
yes, and I'm not sure where, I just turned myself off.
Well, Councilman Johnston's
So-
the first in the
That's
queue.
okay. She turned
Okay.
herself off. She can go first.
Gosh, that's a lot to process. I'm looking at Belzer. So, did you just break my heart? What you just did? Okay.
Well, and I also want to bring up, the way that they're designing the program now is that they are not wanting the same jurisdictions really to get funded every year, because there's a lot of jurisdictions that are not funded. Our demographics make us very competitive because we're 69.9% low mod or LMI, and so we do get funded because we're pretty high up there in competition. And so we're not the only ones. So they're putting a lot of these different, like the different set aside and the different 50% things in order to keep the same people from getting it. We've just been able to expend funds very quickly, like the neighborhood cleanup or city streets program. We went through the money really fast. The state this year was very slow getting contracts out. Had they got them out 4 months ago, we might have been able to expend 50% of some of the other funds. But we do need to keep this in mind year after year when we're planning on what we want to apply for, because if we applied for a project this year and we're unable to expend 50% of that project this year, then we will not be able to apply for a project next year,
Right.
which we're already taking that into consideration and planning if we do get awarded these funds on how we're going to be able to hit that milestone. But that's something that we need to be aware of every year, of what we bring to you on how it might affect us in the future and future applications and needs for the city.
So what I hear you saying in addition is, we might as well, when awarded, looking at it like it's just one-time monies.
Yes.
And to be wisely prudent and to find other means of supporting, such as our code enforcement, our city works, through other means.
Right, and one of the things I said is I was trying to see if I could disencumber some of the program income that we have applied to our first-time home buyer program, because we have been awarded additional funds through the home program for that, and that to see if I could apply to use that for like the neighborhood cleanup. But the state or CDBG California has decided that they do not want us using our program income for public services or planning grants right now. So we couldn't even use that if we wanted to do that for any public service or anything. And then I also asked if I could amend that application to include owner-occupied rehab, but I'm not able to. So I still have additional questions through the application process. We're going to be meeting regularly to discuss different things, and so I'll continue to bring questions to them, because I feel like our program income, we should be able to utilize it in any CDBG eligible activity, but they have a amendment or a consolidated plan that they approve every year, that they approve what activities are going to go into the NOFAs, and those are some of the rules.
And if I can add to that too, I think Amy brings up a really good point that we're going to have to be strategic in how we apply for these on an annual basis. And you know, some of the projects like the fire engines, frankly, we were fortunate enough we can expend those dollars right away. So that makes us eligible for a very big, significant project now. But as she mentioned, we're already thinking about a project we want to apply for next year, which you'll hear about later on this evening. But I think we have to be strategic, and if we apply for certain types of, whether it's a public service or a project or a planning, making sure we're also thinking about being able to expend whatever dollars or leave some programs that are open so we can apply for in the following year.
Councilman Johnstone's in the queue.
And City Works is very important, so we're going to have to be,
Yeah.
we've already had discussions on that, so.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that you. But so basically, the only portion of this that we can apply for, in this next round is the one for the streets and,
The storm drain.
storage.
Yeah, unless,
That is only
So
if, that's only if we get the second approval to our reimbursement. So it's depending upon their contract packaging and how quickly they get it to me. And then how, I've already got it ready to go. I just got to put a date on it and I'll send it. So then it's just them approving it.
So no service this go around. What is our service, what is the service one? that's
Catalyst
been-
domestic
Yeah,
violence,
the
that was the one that we
from
added, yeah, for
Last year,
100,000.
yeah, wow. Okay.
Vice Mayor Smith is in the queue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Storm drains, you know, there's a requirement coming. Can we kind of be forward-thinking and kind of perhaps meeting some of those future requirements, if I'm making sense? So there's, for example, they're going to, 2030, I understand they're going to make it a requirement that we filter the storm drain water flowing out to the river. So
Yeah.
could we be forward-thinking with a strategic, you know, kind of plugging a hole with these dollars and for future requirements? You think? And I'm not sure what staff has in mind with storm drains, or maybe it'll be completely consumed with other just issues, and probably will be, but.
Would you like me to
Alyssa.
speak to the proposed project is the Foothill. On Foothill, we have a storm drain that's, I want to say, roughly 36 or 42 inches in diameter that runs underneath Foothill. And we want to make repairs to that. We already know that there are components of it that may be failing. And so we want to address that. And it will be a rather elaborate, lengthy, it's about 1,000 feet long of pipe.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's a big project.
How,
Councilman Goodson's back on.
monetarily, how big is it?
The
Foothill?
storm drain?
Foothill?
Yes.
We're expecting it to take the full amount.
Dollar-wise?
Yes, so roughly $2.5 to $3 million.
Okay, so that wasn't my original question. Oh, gosh, what was that? I just had a senior moment. All right, so moving forward, next year, trajectory, do we have a project shovel-ready? We do. You're
Not yet,
working
but
on it.
working on
It's
it.
a work in progress.
And a couple items.
Okay.
Okay.
I think too, and as we've all probably agreed, that having code enforcement in place, I think is an excellent idea. And I want to compliment Mr. Belser's monthly reports. Those all got to be a tremendous advantage in the grant application for it, because they clearly show the work that's being done. So kudos to your reports. Good place for them to go. Exactly.
But
Okay.
also, so just one more thing, in addition to the public projects, I mean, I think this gives us, and correct me if I'm wrong though, Amy, but this gives us an opportunity now to kind of work with, obviously, Catalyst, and if we can get that down by 50% next year, then unless the rules change, we'd be eligible to provide or apply for a public service next year. But I think it's one of those things we got to think about every year. What are we looking at next year and what can be expended expediently?
Okay. Do we have any cards on this item at all?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we do. I wanted to just read 2 names into the record of electronic comments we did receive on this
Okay.
item. One from Kaylee Jensen and one from Maria Fagundes. And then we do have one speaker here today, Brianne Workman.
Brianne, would you like to come on up? Welcome.
Based off what I just heard, it kind of seems like my whole spiel is a little pointless for this year, but I will speak for next year in case we can do that. I'm from Orville. I've lived in Orville my entire life. I've graduated from Orville High School. I've gone to church here my whole life, and now I'm raising my kids here. I've been with the YMCA for 7 years now. I started out at the front desk, watching the senior fitness classes, which I absolutely love, and then I got to move into the childcare program. I can tell you, yesterday was actually my 7 years, as of yesterday. I've been there for 7 years, so I love it there. From the first day I walked in, it was home for me. I don't want to be anywhere else. And I love those kids, man. I have your grandkids, I have your nieces, I have your nephews, I have your cousins. My own kids go there, and I consider it an absolute honor to watch them in the summertime and watch them during the fall breaks and the Christmas breaks, President's Week in February, spring break, you know, I have them. We feed them, we speak into their souls, you know, we give them an ear to listen to because we don't know about their families that they go home to. You know, sometimes they go home and they're alone. Their
Right.
parents are working, you know, it's really hard to have a living wage these days. So I consider it an honor to have your guys' kids. We need to expand affordable childcare. That's plain and simple. Not a lot of parents can afford it. They can't afford it with the YMCA. We offer discounts up to 65%. Valley Oaks also tries to cover some, but the fact remains, most parents cannot afford childcare. That grant, we've had it before, and it changed everything. I had up to like 80 to 90 kids in the summer one time, from 5 to about 13 years old. And it was wonderful. Without it, our sessions have dropped by like 75%. I think I have 10 kids registered for Fall at the Y this month. And that's my minimum. I can't have a camp unless I have at least 10 kids, and that doesn't even pay my counselors. My friend Jacqueline back here, she's one of my assistant supervisors. I have another one, Samantha Ward, who's very well into the community as well. So we're working in a negative when we do these little mini camps, but parents can't quit their jobs. They have to provide, especially now with the government shutdown. You need groceries. So it doesn't provide just supervision. It provides enrichment. We focus on early learning, social development, healthy eating habits by providing 2 meals a day and 2 healthy snacks a day. We focus on their emotional well-being, giving them the strong foundation they need to succeed in school and life. It will impact families directly, helping break the cycle of poverty and strengthening the fabric of our community. Every dollar invested has a ripple effect. It affects the children first, empowering their parents, helping Orville continue to grow as a place where every family has a fair chance to thrive. I really, really hope I would like to grow this back to where it used to be. Years ago, they would have hundreds of kids. When Jackie Glover was doing it, hundreds of kids every summer. And I missed that by about a couple years, and I would like to get it back to that. I don't know, Maria, she's our grant writer in Sacramento, if she has anything to add.
No, you covered it. I
Yeah.
just here to emphasize the fact that we received this grant for 3 years in the past, and it allowed us to serve almost 100 kids and their families, and without it, most of those families cannot afford the childcare.
Ladies, thank you for your presentation. We appreciate your words, and you were very correct. Yeah, we hope that things change. Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else on cards?
We have no other cards.
Okay, any council questions of the staff? We need to move forward on the recommendation then.
Mr. Mayor, we do need to close the public hearing.
Oh, that's right. All right, I'll close the public hearing, seeing no other cards. It's closed now. It's up to council. What was, entertain a motion?
Yes.
Do we have 2 items?
It's kind of one, really.
So we need to authorize.
Number 12.
It was the staff recommendation and then, or provide direction. So at this point, I think we would just need to provide direction. And my new recommendation would be the storm drain project. Unless I can
And then,
fight my way to something else, then I would bring that back to you guys.
Okay, so,
I'll need to bring this back for a resolution for the grant.
okay, but you'll let us know if anything changes? Okay.
the
So,
next one.
so I propose that we just direct you to the storm drain.
Yeah,
Yeah, so.
go ahead.
we don't need to, we just need to give you direction, we don't need to vote on it, right? Yeah, so.
So
are we all in
I
agreement?
think we have consensus on the item for number 12.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Then we'll come back to item
you,
number
Amy.
13,
Super bummer.
which I have to open the public hearing again because we have a different hearing. We're open now for item number 13, which is was timed for 5:15, but we're a little, proposed the ordinance update to chapter 13-08, waste and burning regulations. Chief Tens, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the council. The proposed amendments to Chapter 13.8 Waste and Burning Regulations update and modernize local dooryard burning requirements to improve safety, consistency, and clarity. The revisions align burn hours and seasonal dates with Butte County and other local agencies and authorize the fire chief to modify, revoke, or suspend burn permits as needed for public safety, weather, or air quality concerns. Some additional key updates include increasing the maximum allowable burn pile size from 4 feet to 6 feet, updating the permit validity to 1 year from the date of issuance rather than a calendar year. The ordinance also clarifies specific dates and times when burning is permitted, simplifies language throughout for consistency, and notes that burn permits are now available online, which is a huge achievement. Enforcement measures are strengthened throughout provisions for administrative citations, burn revoctions, cost recovery, and misdemeanor penalties for violations. So in a nutshell, reading through the ordinance, I've gone through every ordinance that's related to the fire department, and this is the last one, just trying to update them. And there was some outdated language. Specifically, the name was hard, but also I felt it was important that the city aligned with Butte County. It's a little confusing when we do our press releases, and the city's burn hours are this, the county's that, Paradise, and, all these different jurisdictions. So I've been working with the other assistant chiefs, and we've been trying to add a consistency across the board. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Good. Any questions from staff? Any cards on this item?
No cards.
Okay. I would, direction given? We're good to go?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I'll close the public hearing and we'll ask for direction.
Kayla, just. You good?
Chief Tens, I have a question or a comment. I know we were working on the, do you have a timing on the online burn permits? I know that was a big deal when we talked about.
Yeah.
It's been probably, 9 months or so, but I mean, it's something we've been working on, and the idea was if someone goes online, correct me if I'm wrong, they can go through that process, there's no cost to that, versus if they come in, obviously then you involve staff time and there'd be reimbursement, or obviously you have to cover your the costs there. So we're gonna be pushing folks to do the online process. Chief Tens and our IT department have been working closely on that. Has a training video in there, attestations that you certify, and you can actually print, I believe, the permit out.
So eventually it'll be a process. So they'll go to the fire department's website on the city as a link. There's instructions, and it covers, some of the safety measures. There's an educational video, and then you'll fill the permit. It'll take you to a link to Tyler. You'll fill that portion out. You'll come back, and you hereby, agree to the terms. And then right now, currently, there's an approval process. So it'll come back to me, and I'll approve it. I'll review it, and then approve it, and then it will be emailed to them. But I told Tyson, essentially, once they watch the educational video and read the rules, as long as they live in the city, I think they should just get a burn permit.
Okay. Vice Mayor Smith is in the queue.
Yeah, I watched the video, so it was good. Good.
All right.
But, nothing eventful. It's where you can actually click a box and say, I've kind of self-certification that I can now destroy something legally. So.
Well, they're always liable.
Yeah.
But did I hear that if you do that, then it's no cost?
That's the idea. We had a discussion with this council. It's been a while about the idea of the fee for, we want to encourage folks to take care of their debris, their appropriate debris.
Yeah.
So it's going to be our recommendation. Obviously, if they can do this all online, then there's no staff costs involved. So we'll push it out heavy on social media though. But that's
Okay.
the idea, is
Good
to
idea.
get it online and there's no fee then.
This ordinance will align with the weed abatement ordinance you guys passed a couple months ago. So folks are out, they're cleaning their property like we want them to do. You jump online, you don't have to come home, you fill out it, and it's free of cost, and you're cleaning your property. We'd like to see that.
Councilman Weber has a question.
I love common sense stuff. Let's pass this.
All right, so I hear that as a motion to waive the first reading of the ordinance and introduce the ordinance by title, updating and amending the language to chapter 13.8, waste and burning regulations, and direct staff to bring back the November 18th, 2025 council meeting for adoption.
I'll second.
Call the roll, please. Well done, thank you. All right, now we're gonna back up to item number 7, regular business. Ratification of the agreement with the Day Charter and Murphy and resolution of the City Council, City of Oroville establishing the Oro Verde Oroville's new public utility. Who has this one? Mr. Patrick?
It's me.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So we've talked for quite some time about forming a public utility at this point. And what we learned not too long ago was that it's really just as simple as passing a resolution by council. Whether or not you do anything with it afterwards is another story. If we didn't do anything tomorrow or the next year, then we would have a public utility that there wouldn't be anything there. So you pass a resolution, and then it's up to the hard work to actually make something happen so that you can sell power to your customers. Excuse me. So to do this, the city entered into an agreement with Day, Carter, and Murphy to write up a resolution for us and then to help us work out a PPA agreement with the developer so that we could. What's
a PPA?
Sorry, thank you for doing that. I always do that. Power purchase agreement.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we can enter into a power purchase agreement with the developer, which will allow us then to be protected and then engage with the developer so that we can start to do the work of forming this utility and providing power to the neighbors. The resolution that's attached tonight was written by Day, Carter, and Murphy. This is the first thing that they've done for us. They've met with the development team and are starting to gather information so that they can work out the power purchase agreement for us. She leaned heavy this morning in a call about that she's going to be protecting the city's interests, so we were happy about that. So as I said, nothing has, once the resolution's passed, nothing has to happen. We'll just have a public utility, and whether we do anything with it or not is another story. However, the developer does want to build a 100-acre solar farm and then provide power to our industrial customers down in the industrial area. So they have a permit application in now that's under review, and there is a deadline of December 31st. If they don't meet a certain measure by December 31st, then it starts to get really expensive because of tariffs and because of some actual penalties for purchasing renewable energy materials that didn't come from the United States. And so there's quite a big incentive for them to get this completed in time, and they're working really hard to do this. This is one of the steps along the way that will help them get to that point. So having the resolution passed by the city and then a power purchase agreement with the city helps them with their investors to be able to make the large purchase that it'll take to get this solar farm going. Okay. So you may have seen in the staff report, and I've had several people comment on it, that Oro Verde is a working title that I came up with Michael Spencer, one of the developers, and we thought it was sort of an interesting take on Oroville, and then Oroville coming from gold originally, and now green renewable energy being sort of a source of a whole big window of opportunity for the city. And so we have this working tagline of Oro Verde and then a tagline of green is the new gold. So.
Thank you. I have Councilman Goodson in the queue.
Yes, just for the sake of clarity, Could you please explain this portion of the city staff report? Where it states that this approach will not replace or compete with existing utilities. Rather, it just provides a complementary service, an additional option. How does that work with the existing utilities?
Well, PG&E and Pioneer are still really important partners to the city, so we don't want them to feel like they're threatened or that we're trying to take away their things. We're just providing another opportunity or another option for utilities for our industrial users, particular at this point.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Smith is in the queue.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just clarification, so under fiscal impact in the staff report, it outlines that there is a replenishable fund capitalized through a $30,000 deposit provided by BRE, and then it goes on to talks about replenishing that fund from time to time. So it doesn't say who the replenisher is.
BRE is the
Okay,
replenisher.
very good.
Right?
It just doesn't
Right.
say that, so thank you for that clarification.
Sure, of course.
Councilman Weber's up next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is very exciting stuff for the future of Orville. And this is a step toward building that future that, we so desperately need to secure, not only for this generation, but for generations to come. The time to build towards the future of Orville is right now, and that's what this step is working toward right now. Where you can't have an objective without having a vision, and you can't do the vision without taking the steps to get there. So I'm so excited to see us building the framework for the future of Orville. We have this golden opportunity to seize this moment, and we need to be creative in our efforts to offer up affordable energy options. Because yes, we do have PG&E and Pioneer, but we also, in my opinion, I think we need to have more options on the table to offer up those affordable options to our partners in our community so we can make it, it's I'm not trying to beat up on anybody, but everybody knows that we've seen almost a 300% increase in our utility cost over the last several years. So we, as a governing body, have a responsibility and to seize on technologies, advancements, and to offer up what we can to alleviate that burden or alleviate that pain that we feel, to use a term, the pain at the pump, so to speak, right? And how do we alleviate the pain at the pump? How do we make it easier for our constituency? How do we take a little bit of that burden off? How do we bring in industry? How do we build a sustainable model and future for Orville? And that's what we're looking at here. That's exactly what this is. And this is the framework for that. So I applaud you and your efforts in building relationship to get us this far. And I'm looking forward to the continued community conversations we're going to have, because there's another element that's on the other side of this. Right now, we're talking about the framework for a public utility and Oro Verde being passed as a resolution and this solar farm, but then there's more on the other side. So, I'm looking forward to those community conversations. We're in the works of planning one out in December, and I'm hoping that every single person that has something to say about it would be in attendance, and that we could have a really robust conversation and flesh this out. What works for Orville, what it looks like for Orville to thrive and develop and grow. So I am thrilled with the work that we've done so far on this, and I commend you, Pat. Thank you so much for all your efforts, and I'm looking forward to see where this goes, because I believe it's going to highly benefit Orville and its residents for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Johnstone's in the queue.
Thank you. So I am totally in support of the goal of improving Orville's energy resiliency and supporting our industrial base. I do have a couple questions. So it comes at no initial cost, right? But could PG&E challenge the formation of this at any point?
Well, the action tonight, the resolution does form the public utility. There are things that PG&E could do along the way that we are, say, alligators in the water. But we're hoping that doesn't happen. I've spoken with PG&E, and I've sort of explained to them that the things we're doing most of it is not replicatable. This is something unique to Oroville. And I don't think that, I don't see any reason why they should feel threatened by us or by this. But they are an important partner to us, right? They power up the whole rest of the town and they provide us gas. So I want to be kind to PG&E because they are an important partner for keeping the lights on.
Yeah, that's what my concern is I just don't want there to be like any legal, if we move forward in this area, I want to make sure that there's not going to be any legal mumbo jumbo that is going to be going on. So I want to make sure that we're fully engaged with them as far as they understand what we're trying to do, and if we're going to be partners with them, that they're fully on board as well because of how, the big conglomeration that they are, so.
Well, I told them that we were doing this tonight, so they're aware of this. Making sure that they stay apprised of all our moves.
Okay.
Good questions. Could you, and I think I know, but I'd like the public to know, what was the selection process for this energy attorney?
We actually interviewed 4 attorneys. We took some recommendations from a few different folks. Eric Scriven, our municipal advisor, he provided 2 of them. I have I guess you'd almost say a mentor who's set up a public utility before. He recommended an attorney, and then this attorney came from Our Energy, who had worked with her before. And so we actually truthfully liked all 4 of the attorneys. But Ann stood out as someone that, Ann Trowbridge is the attorney that would be assigned from that firm. And Ann stood out as someone who understood all the regulations. She understood the alligators in the water, but she had a real can-do attitude, that she was sort of excited about working with us to do this, and really felt like she could see the vision. So.
Thank you. I just want the public to realize that, this is a long process.
It was a process. Right.
And I know you guys have done it. I just want the public to be aware of that.
Yeah, thank you.
And I too support this for a lot of reasons, because we need more energy, and at least we're responding to that. And I say we, the entire country needs more energy. You can't turn the lights off and have things to grow. It just doesn't work. And if every utility was jumping on it and increasing their utility capacity, then it'd be great. But so not the case. So in this case, I think we're responding. And as Councilman Weber states, we're responding to one of the biggest complaints our jurisdiction gives us. There's a person in this room that doesn't give us a complaint about the utility cost.
Right.
And we're not trying to compete with someone else, but we're looking at an alternative here.
That's
and
right.
That's just the simplicity of it. So. Any other council questions? Do we have any cards on this item?
Yes, we do, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
We do have several cards tonight. We will begin with Bonita Malone and follow it with Patricia Hieronymus.
Welcome, Bonnie. Yes.
All right. Well, as you know, I've been a member of the community for 52 years, and we've come a long way. And Mr. Brian Wong has done a wonderful work to improve Oroville and make it a more delightful place to live. However, this biomass and solar project does need some more research, and there are 4 points that I want to bring up to you. The first is health hazard. There are very, very fine particles that are not going to be filtered out by this process. There is litigation pending in several other states now about endangered community health. I've read the piece in Mississippi case now. We here in Butte County are number 7 in lung cancer and number 1 in pancreatic cancer. So we do not need any more health hazards in our air. The second issue is the selected site. The selected site is on the old tailings from the gold mining days. They're loose rock. There's no soil there. That was all washed away. And should there be a flood or explosion, which has happened with these plants, toxins would flow directly into the water table, which is only 25 feet below the surface. The third issue that I would like you to research before making decisions on this is the increased pollution with the hundreds of diesel vehicles that would be trucking in the burned trees that would be burned and used for fuel in these facilities. the increased wear and tear on our roads, and the traffic problems that would be created by these trucks. And then the last issue I'd like you to look at, we have just did an upgrade on the energy producing at the dam, and we had to close off Highway 70 because they brought in these gigantic pieces of equipment and hundreds of thousands of yards of concrete have been installed there. So I think we're doing pretty well with hydroelectric power. The solar energy that we get, we've had a successful, up at the courthouse, we've had, and all around Oroville, seen many, many homes now with solar energy. I really want and need you to investigate and do research onto the health hazards that this would conceivably bring to our area. Yes, I'm sure the revenues for the city would be increased. However, the health of our citizens is foremost. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Malone.
Thank you. Up next, we have Patricia Hieronymus, followed by Carmen Hieronymus.
Welcome, Patricia.
Thank you, David. Mr. Mayor, my name is Patricia Hieronymus. I'm the Executive Director of Butte Environmental Council. I just have a couple of questions. Thank you for your time tonight. I received a couple of emails saying you're invited, public hearing on Oroville's renewable energy future. The two emails basically had the same bodies but different times and dates for what we're discussing today. I'm thinking one was tonight's meeting was listed, the next one was the 10th of November. The first one, the links were broken. The second one didn't say it was a correction. So super confusing, just trying to figure out if we are discussing tonight the step-by-step process that begins with this resolution to do a solar farm for 100 acres and then works its way up to the biomass, then I'm very concerned about the resolution for multiple reasons.
Okay.
If we're going to discuss that on the 10th, then I can bring all those questions there. Part of my concern begins with the contract or MOU. It says that Bree Enterprise, which I understand to be private, correct, is entering into agreement that they're going to gift the city the infrastructure once it's built. So what is the agreement from this private industry? Is there a contract? Is there a memorandum of understanding? When are they going to gift it to us? What is being promised in exchange for that gift? The resolution is a little bit vague. It states the word equity, but it says that it's only in the city limits and only for industrial businesses. So that part's a little vague. I would love a little more clarity on the timeline of when actual citizens would be eligible, and what about people outside of the city? To this purchase power agreement with the developer, I would love a lot more transparency around that. I get a little bit nervous when I hear developers investing in our disadvantaged communities for multiple reasons. The history of environmental injustice in Oroville, where I grew up, and my mother is also living. I can submit more questions. It's just super confusing when there's an email sent out on behalf of Bree, but it mentions the city of Oroville. So what is the connection? Is it actually a government entity, or is it the business sending it? These are all questions that I have. And it says that it's protecting the city's interests. So what is that? Financial interest, economic interest? Is it health interest? Because the public has not been notified properly. There are some Brown Act violations that I've noticed. And we need a lot more clarity to move forward with this. And we need public input. And we need representation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Carmen Hieronymus, followed by Brian Wong.
Welcome, Carmen.
Hi. Thank you. My concern is this. I've lived in Oroville since 1969. I have had businesses here, Hieronymus Press, a lot of people know that. And I have had my family here. My husband died to cancer. My partner, my second partner, died to cancer, lung cancer. And I know that the air that is here because of the things that happen, in the areas that we're talking about, have very hardly affected, the health of people, the quality of our air. My question to you is, are you more interested in how to get more funds for you? Are you more interested in the safety of the people that live here? And I want to leave you with that question, because I am more interested in having quality of life than quantity of money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Brian Wong, followed by Kathy Brazil.
Brian, welcome.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council, and staff and community. Just before I start, I just want to disclose that I have no relationship with Bree and any of the contracts that they have going right now. So I've spoken in front of City Council many times about, what's happening in the business sector in Oroville. And right now, we're just having a very tough time. And not only the business sector, but the community overall. When we look at the cost of fire insurance, which is directly attributable to all these wildfires that we've had, these high costs on PG&E now because they got to bury all the lines, So all these issues, they're huge problems for the community. And as we heard earlier, the issues with SNAP, our community will get to a point, if we keep at this trajectory, that they're going to have to choose between food and heating their home. And I do see that coming. And that's the path. So, these questions that are being raised tonight, they're excellent questions. There's no easy answer. I'm glad that the community is concerned and we ask these questions. So what I know is when there is a public utility like they have over in Biggs, they pay about half of what we pay. Sacramento has SMUD. They pay about half of what we pay. So the question is, how have these communities achieved these goals while maintaining a healthy balance of energy? Whether it's solar, wind, renewables, fossil, nuclear, whatever they're doing, how are they doing it? And that's the question. So I think, all the questions tonight are very healthy. I think we got to keep pursuing these solutions. I want to thank Pat and also, the Bree guys. I want to know more about what they're trying to do, actually, because I know that I've sat in meetings where they're trying to do solar and biomass, but don't know too much about their ideas for the utilities district yet. So hopefully we get some more future as this process unfolds. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Up next, we have Kathy Brazil.
Welcome, Kathy.
I'm an advocate for our environment and for the health of our community, and I do want to see Oroville move forward. I believe that this idea of bringing biomass and industry to Oroville is not the best solution, and I ask you to vote no on this resolution tonight until there is more transparency on this issue. Number one, the environmental justice that Oroville is due, especially in the south side. I believe Kevin Thompson, the pastor, does not really have a seat at the table. The city of Oroville and their outreach to the public is very hit and miss. There was a public comment notice for the negative mitigation declaration on the solar project, and on the paperwork it said the deadline was October 27th, but an email went out to me saying it was actually November 3rd, and so there's some violations of communication right there, not informing the public. And I feel that the idea of calling it a public utility is misleading, since a private industry will be paying for the legal counsel and paying for the project. So maybe it should be called a private utility. The Superfund site is very concerning to me. I don't believe the dioxins are cleaned up there. If Oroville wants to have solar and create more energy, then there are plenty of other properties that they can do this on. I do think that the city council and the local investors in this are not experts on the health issues. If you look at the American Lung Association, the tiny particles that come out of biomass 24/7, this would generate, cannot be filtered out. And the presentation by Bree at the, quote, town hall, which wasn't really a town hall, it was more like a sales pitch. They talked about, oh, well, if it gets too high, then we'll close it down and we'll provide filters and we'll have all these backup emergency plans. Why would you need a safety plan if it's not hazardous? So I'm very concerned about that. And I wonder if there's bids have been put out for solar. There's local solar companies in California that can do a very good job of producing solar. So I want to know if the city of Oroville has put that out to bid to bring solar to our community. I know that the dam promised all kinds of energy and benefits to our town, and it didn't come true. And again, this is big industry. And the mayor also said at that town hall meeting at the south side that in the past, Oroville has made mistakes of investing in industry. Well, I want retail, and I want you to open our hospital. Or is it planned for the hospital because you're going to...
Thank you. Do we have any more cards?
That's all I have.
That's it? Okay. Council member, any more questions? Comments? I'd entertain a motion for item, let's see, let me make sure I'm on here. Excuse me, my sheet's messed up here. Item 7, excuse me.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 9417.
Second.
Motion second, call the roll, please.
Motion passes with 5 yeses, 1 no, and 1 absent.
Can I
Thank you all.
make a, just,
Yeah.
I know Councilmember Reynolds, you said motion for resolution 9417, and there also was ratification of the agreement. Presume that was also included in that motion? Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Thank you.
Okay, the agenda item as presented.
Yep, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Oh, Vice Mayor Smith.
Yeah, I just want to, just a comment on what we just voted on. At least for myself, I have reviewed American Lung Association documentation when it comes to the concerns related to this industry. And I just, at least for myself, I will continue to pay attention, read, and digest the professional experts as they speak to this issue, because, I mean, those are all concerns I would hope we all would possess, and we would want the very best for our community. So I just, for those that have spoke to this issue and have a lot of concerns, your comments have not gone unnoticed. And so there'll be, I think, future,
Sure.
obviously, future opportunities to weigh in on this project as we move forward. Thank you.
Well, and I agree too, because this council's not interested in polluting anything, so that's our impetus here, and we're really looking at trying to find solution. As many other communities, you know, we're not the first ones here to do it. It's already out there, so. Councilman Weber, excuse me, you're in the queue.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I echo the sentiments of Vice Mayor Smith as well. And certainly appreciate every one of your comments. And then also, we are going to host another event. It will be at the Oroville High School, at the library, I believe, in the library. That will be on December 8th, which is a Monday. That'll be another Oroville Community Development Coalition meeting, and that will be a conversation about this very topic. So, you know, so I want to invite you guys to come to that as well, okay?
What
time? 5:30.
Well, and
5:30 PM, December 8th.
There's a lot of information. I'll be at a seminar on Bree, or on biomass in Sacramento all day tomorrow. So it's a big topic all around the world. So all the councilmen are working hard, and our staff are working hard on this issue. So we appreciate all the discussion, and we want to get all the answers, the questions answered. Okay, item number 8, amendment to, you know what? Let's take a 10-minute break. We've been kind of sitting here for a while, and We're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll be back here at 6:25.
No.
6:30.
3:15.
Oh. Okay, so we left off, we need to work on item number 8, correct? And that's the amendment to the elected officials guiding principles handbook. Mr. Ring, please.
I'll kick this off. So this was actually back in mid 2024, staff were directed to try to come up with a guiding principles handbook just for elected officials to have as a resource guide. And it was ultimately brought before the council for input back in late 24 and adopted by the council in December of 24. And it's been recommended to kind of bring it forward and see if there's any amendments at the council, what's working, what isn't working, is there anything the council would like to see changed in this? There was a couple modifications that were presented in the staff report. I know one component had to do with some training periodically, either for seasoned council members or certainly newly brought on council members who haven't been involved in municipal government. I think it was a great opportunity. League of Cities has trainings for those council members, and also again for a refresher training. So we can put it up on the screen if anyone would like to. I think it's in front of you as well. It's in the council packet. But if there's any thoughts, questions, concerns, ideas, now's the time to give staff direction on this document.
Well, personally, I think it's a great idea because as people become elected to office and they have great ideas and they were elected by their, electorate, you just need to get together on understanding what the common principles are and what you can and can't do. And I think it's real important to have some kind of guidance. Interestingly, on the other Orville Dam Citizen Advisory Committee, we're having a changeover of elected officials, and the new ones that come in really don't have a clue about the whole network. So now we're having to put a committee together to bring people up to speed in whatever endeavor they're working on. This is this kind of same thing, and I think that it's got a lot of good aspects of it, and it's a necessary item in the world that we live in today, because words have meaning, and they mean things, and behaviors have meaning. So I'm in favor of what we have here. Any other council comments or suggestions or questions? Oh, Vice Mayor Smith, please.
Yeah, just reviewing this document, I think that we could add the proverbial more meat to the bones. Certainly, going back to that comment that you just made about the fact that, when you come in, there's a lot of institutional knowledge that you need to glean very quickly and be ramped up to speed for those incoming. And then those of us that have been around the block, there is the old, you forget what you knew. In fact, that's a test on knowing that you've matured when you realize and wake up one day, I forgot more than I've ever learned. So there's that dynamic as well. So I think it's good for a refresher for all of us. That being said, what would be the process for, because it's not on the agenda per se, because I would like to explore potentially a committee made up of 3 council members to perhaps spend a little bit more thought and time. Although I don't know if that's necessarily agendized to be able to do that at this point. But I think we should put a little more thought to this, and maybe the attorney has an opportunity to speak to that.
Yeah, as presented on the regular business item tonight, there is a direction component. It does contemplate sort of providing direction to sort of delineate the nature of the changes that you want to see, but it doesn't contemplate approval of those changes tonight. So it'd be bringing it back. If one of those components is you'd like to have some kind of a committee of council members kind of participate in developing some of those things, that's not really included in what we have contemplated tonight, so I would suggest that it would be something that comes back. But it is a good, after a year, good time to kind of take a look at these things and see what's working, what isn't. So if that's the preference, we could allow you as council members and the mayor time to consider who you appoint, and then bring that piece of it back, and then plan to bring whatever other items you give to staff tonight, right now as your base ideas, to staff, maybe at a subsequent meeting, maybe towards the end of the year.
Yeah, and just, we live in a very complex world. You can't hardly drive home, you've violated something, and there's always somebody out there looking for, the opportunity to remind you of that. Right? Yeah, he's sitting right over there. But, you know, when you look at all the rules of the road, and we're right here on public display, you know, for all the world to see. And so it's important that we have a sharp stick. And I think we need to just put some good thought into this process.
Yeah.
That could be part of the direction that you give to us, is to, you know, do multiple steps. It doesn't have to be that we absorb, you know, your immediate feedback and bring it back as almost a polished product. You
Okay.
can ask us to do things in the interim.
So that would be my input to this process.
Councilman Weber.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I think that this is an excellent suggestion for us to go back and revisit this. And I think that what we should probably do is direct legal counsel and staff to go in and fortify the language in the code, our code of conduct, and to add strong language or guardrails to deter any behaviors that are not in line with the code as outlined, an enhancement of those codes, okay? And by adding actions that could be taken by council to enforce the code as well on the back end of it, okay? If there is offenses that are happening and it's been identified and they're repetitive in nature or whatever, however we do it, like offense number 1, this, offense number 2, whatever, what are our sequence of actions beyond that? I would disagree with Vice Mayor Smith. I don't think we need a committee. I think that both legal counsel and staff could come up with a language and then they could bring it back to us and then we could all review that. Let's let legal counsel work through it and come up with back with suggestions that are common sense, that make sense for all of us. I think that Orville deserves and demands, like, you know, really awesome transparency and guardrails for our elected officials. And anybody that endeavors to be in this position probably would have no problem with this at all, because we want transparency. We want to be held to a standard. You know, we're all elected to represent so many people, you know, in our respective districts. And then, of course, the mayors at large representing the totality of our constituencies. So I think that this is incredibly important that we have transparency and accountability and measures on how to get us there.
Vice Mayor Smith is in the queue again.
We agree on much. That being said, where I think the disagreement lies is in the fact that Orville is a charter city that affords us a lot of latitude. And I think as such that we should leverage our own opinions in light of the council and in light of the law. But there may be aspects of some of that code that we want to you know, mold and shape accordingly. And I think that it would be important to have an opportunity that obviously wouldn't fit in this format to kind of have a little bit of a deeper look into some of that, notwithstanding the fact that certainly council needs and staff need to bring back. But I think for a committee of 3 council members to kind of weigh in on that and evaluate what that might mean as a charter city and how that might be nuanced a little differently, that'd be tailored to our own culture, would be a good thing.
Okay, I'd like to add, it says elected officials. I'd like to add appointed officials like planning commission members too. I think that would be an advantage to have, so that, you know, we have kind of consistency coming in the door and, you know, up to the top. Instead of a committee, I'd like to offer the fact that we maybe use our vintage members of council as the older ones that might help the new member come. I'm using the word vintage just to be kind.
Seasoned.
Seasoned, yes, because there's many things that you learn on council that, I mean, you know, that have been here for a while that, you know, can be extremely helpful to any new member that comes in the door. And I'm using the word vintage, but there's another word probably more appropriate for it, but. Seasoned.
Older.
Yeah, careful now, careful, I didn't go there. I think, do we have enough direction?
Mr. Mayor, just
yes.
for clarity, your Classic members, council, are you envisioning them?
There we go.
I didn't want to say antique, so I opted for classic.
Yeah.
Are you envisioning those members as part of a committee, or are you envisioning that we just get input from council members or ask council members to seek us out and give us suggestions, or what are you
I think,
suggesting here?
yeah, I'm really hesitant to go to a formal committee because I'd rather have someone willing to participate and offer, the information. And I think it's a group of 2 or 3 members to go through it that are willing to volunteer to help. It would be more my inclination to go down that path. And I think classic's not a bad word. I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, that's a little better than.
So am I hearing reach out to the council, see if there's a couple classic folks who'd like to meet with us and review?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I'm adding the planning commissioners in this because they're as important as we are. And
No, I agree.
many issues come up that can be difficult, and the art commissioners too. They're all dealing with things that make money and save. So they're all a valuable part of the city. So I would add them to it too. So
I think the young pups of the council should be able to,
there you go. There you go. That's
I think we can take a holistic approach.
Yeah.
We're all classy members.
Okay.
So we'll go with that, right?
All right. So we got enough there to work with. Yep. Thank you all. Number 9 is a presentation for the design renovation of 2000 Challenger Avenue for the Public Safety Facility Number 2. Who's up with this?
I'll kick it off as Chief Tens and our senior engineer and project manager, Tim Kaber, are coming up to the podium, I believe, or are they gonna do it down there? But ultimately, this is, the idea tonight is to, we've had a lot of discussions over the past couple of years about the potential designation of a site to be a future public safety facility, and I think there's been a lot of work done in the past by Chief Tens and other folks in the fire department that's kind of outlined response times and what's in our
Thank you, sir.
gosh darn it, can't remember the word I'm looking for, but ultimately, we've been looking at this facility, Challenger Avenue, the city-owned facility out there for a number of months now, and I think Chief Tens is going to do a presentation tonight just on what the impacts would be if we did have a second fire station out there. How would that impact service response times? Just to see if, one, this is the ideal location for a future public safety facility number 2, and then Tim has also done work with partnerships. We've had a consultant on contract do an analysis of the facility to see what it would take to make it a public safety facility. Because again, the public safety facilities are designated a certain manner. They have stricter requirements when it comes to the building code. So we wanted to make sure, okay, what's it going to cost? What would it take to bring this up to code if in fact the council wished to proceed with this as a future public safety facility number 2? And then ultimately, we'll talk about timing at the end and how this could potentially look in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years. And this is the one where we were looking at CDBG, so we'll be talking about that as well. So with that, let me turn over to Chief Tens to do some initial discussions on what this would look like if we had one on the western part of the city.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor again tonight. Brian covered pretty much the first couple
10
slides here,
pages.
which is great. But tonight, the discussion primarily is this a good location? We're not talking about staffing it. We will cover some of that because I know that's going to be a financial concern. But tonight is really the fire service or emergency services in Oroville being prepared for growth in the city. And we all know kind of the exact location that's being conducted, and there's been a lot of talk from developers and stuff and plans for 1,000+ homes. So I want to, myself and Brian and the rest of the staff want to prepare for that ahead of time. Some of the things we'll cover tonight are response times. I'll cover that. Improve citywide fire protection, plan for future growth and annexation, consistent with city general plan, and I'll cover each one of those in some different slides. Call volume, you guys, every year I typically give you a stat report. You guys know how busy we are, and this is a reaction to that. This isn't going to solve the current call volume problem because it's a response time issue, but it's going to help with the expansion as our jurisdiction does expand. And then he's going to cover the engineer's report on facility costs and stuff like that. Uh-oh, where's my map? Good thing I gave you a copy.
Yeah.
Kayla, is the map on there? Can you see it? Or?
It's in the PowerPoint.
Okay, well, I'm glad I printed out the maps for you. 'Cause
Yeah.
So this first slide right here is going to show the first stapled page, and you'll see the light green area. So first you'll see the jurisdictional boundaries of the city. And then you'll see Station 91, that's your current downtown fire station.
There you go.
And what's in that, there it goes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, cool.
And then you'll see kind of that darker shaded area around it, that's kind of a tint of green. That is currently your 5-minute response times from that one station downtown, the public safety facility. The purple is the Kelly Ridge Station, the blue is Palermo, and then you can kind of see 63 that's green, and then the proposed station. So I just wanted to give you kind of a broader view of fire protection as a whole surrounding the city's jurisdiction. As I mentioned, it shows how far out we can reach within 5 minutes or less. Coverage is limited. Not all city areas fall within that 5-minute window. So in the city's general plan, I'll talk about this a little bit later on too, but is to strive for 90% of the city coverage in 5 minutes or less. So that's how we strategically try to place future fire stations. It's reducing city-wide response time, not direct call time response times. Right now, majority of the calls are pretty well covered by the downtown station, by one engine and one ladder truck only. And then anything beyond that is mutual aid or auto aid by Butte County Fire. And, that all works together in the cooperative agreement. But that kind of shows you an overall picture of currently what response times are for fire protection surrounding the city and within the city. This right here, this slide is adding the second station in that location, the proposed location at 2000 Challenger. And you can see that not only does it cover the current city boundaries out in that area, but it's going to meet future needs. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So really, it opens up a huge window for annexation and such like that as far as response time for fire department, fire services.
So on that map, all the orange, correct me if I'm right, is within
All of
5
the
minutes now,
orange.
all the orange tinted background.
And the next slide will show you the response times and how much of the city's covered. So 45% of the city acreage is covered by one fire station currently, with CAL FIRE Station 63, our headquarters. So currently, we only cover less than half of the city in 5 minutes or less. This number obviously will decline as you annex. Adding Fire Station 92 increases overall city response times to 65%. So what that means is 65% coverage. So you'll see a 20% increase in response time citywide. The goal is 90% according to the city's general plan, 5 minutes or less. So anytime we talk about, future fire stations, that's the number we're trying to chip away at. It's not addressing call problems. It's lowering response time citywide. Let's see, and then NFPA standard recommends, it's also NFPA along with the general plan. Faster response times mean survival, less property damage, and safer operations for the firefighters. Some supporting factors: population and call volume are increasing, especially towards the west side. A second station helps handle simultaneous calls, balances workload, and reduces reliance on mutual aid. It improves the quality, faster service for all neighborhoods, including schools and high-risk areas. Strengthens citywide coverage for the next 20 to 30 years. Enhances response to major emergencies as well. It's another resource adding to the response plan. Here's some of the benefits to establishing a second public safety facility. Direct services to the airport, and I'll show you on the map here in a sec how close this facility is to the airport. It had been really close to the commercial fire we had the other night at 2001 Challenger.
Yeah.
But industrial zones, expanding residential areas, annexation, stuff like that, it addresses the need of the Mello-Roos districts that's been paid into for over 20 years. Supports for economic growth, facilitates industrial and commercial expansion, enhances support for airport growth as well, if that was ever an option down the road for the city. We have a fire station out there, and if there was, down the road, commercial flights or whatever, having a fire station there would be required for that, and that would cover that as well. So it's going to help with the expansion of potential for the airport. It's in alignment with the city development plan, supports the fire department's strategic growth plan initiative, enables effective emergency response in the city westward expansion area. And some of you probably remember about 5 years ago, I presented a growth plan for the city, and this is really in line with that. And this is, one of the things that I'd mentioned in there as well. So I know that staffing would be a question. Brian and I talked about it, so we threw out some rough numbers. Although tonight, we're not talking about staffing it. This is a phased-in proposal to you folks tonight of, phases to get there. We're not there right now. We know we can't financially afford it, but we do need to start planning for it. Fire department's been planning for it for a long time. This is something that's always been high on my priority list. But anyways, in order to staff it, it would be one fire engine with 3 firefighters on it. That's the minimum requirement. 1 captain, 1 engineer, 1 firefighter, 9 positions. And we can look at other avenues for some cost savings down the road in discussion with Chief Sholem. But, like I said, we're not there, so we haven't had a lot of discussions on that. But we do know that there may be some options to help with staffing or maybe even a grant when we get to that point. So current revenue from the existing CFDs, the Mello-Roos, is approximately $1.1 million in each account. There's 2 accounts for the Mello-Roos. One is specific for staffing, and the other one is specific for the facility. Currently, that fund is receiving approximately $100,000 annually in each account. And as I mentioned, it's up to about $1 million now. And we know that this is not enough to fund the build or staff the facility right now. But with the build out, some old numbers that I've ran, full development in the current Mello-Roos, my old numbers would generate about $1.8 million to offset that cost. And that's a shared 50-50 cost between police and fire. So it's not an answer, but it does help. And hopefully some of these developments that come out, I would like to see them fall underneath this. And I know that that's a numbers game, but. So here are some exterior pictures of 2000 Challenger. That is the front, and that's on Challenger and Larkin right there on the corner. Currently, it's city-owned, and I wrote this without confirming, but I think it was, Tim's going to cover this, but it wasn't built in 96. 95, I was close. It's approximately 10,700 square feet, which would be larger than your current fire station. On the fire side, not police and fire, but on the fire side, this would be a larger facility. It's located in the western portion of city limits, as you know. Some past building tenants, and Tim will cover some of this too, but Bentif was in there for many years, and Par Electrical is in there currently. Here is a rear picture in the parking lot. This is the bay side facing Challenger. And then this is the side kind of facing Larkin. And Tim may touch on this, but there is some opportunity here with this structure to where you could build and expand from it as well, from this wall as well. So if there was ever a need down the road to make the facility bigger or add some kind of city facilities there, you could. That is an option. Here's an overhead view of it. And then it's hard to see, but in the corner there in Challenger is that facility, and you kind of get an idea of the area that it would service. It would be bigger than that. There it is, but you can see how close it is to the airport, and we would, obviously house the airport crash rescue vehicle that the fire department has out there, and it would be readily available for that.
All right, my turn. Thanks, Chief. So we found the original designer of the 1995 build. It's David Griffith Architects. He's still around. Gave him a feasibility study contract they completed back in July. basically the question was, can this facility be turned into a first responder facility with a reasonable amount of funds, and basically, can it happen? So I asked them to look at the structural, whether it needed to be updated for earthquake, because the original structure was built in 1995 off of 1991 California Building Code. This is after, in 1994, we had the Northridge earthquake, and the codes changed significantly after that. Primarily, I was concerned that maybe this was one of the buildings with the lateral resistance that would be affected by an earthquake. I also looked, wanted to know if the gravity loads, so that's just the weight of the structure itself. Wind load too, that's out there in a windy area. And disabled access and energy compliance. So he looked at all of those things, and the response was, yes, you can do it with some modifications, and it's not gonna be too expensive. I use too expensive because if we were gonna go build new, it would be several times more expensive than the numbers I'm gonna go over. But it does require an interior remodel, pavement upgrade in the parking lot so it can withstand the pressure from the fire trucks. Connection to the street, so we connect out to Challenger. We'd have to remove that middle island that's in Challenger so that fire trucks can go either way. It does have some room to accommodate a substation for Chief Wines over there. We can, the configuration
Are you saying a small
of it,
room or a big room?
well, for Chief, small. So there are two bays. So one bay, we can put the actual firefighter equipment in there. We can put equipment in the other one, or it can be configured to have equipment in both of them. And we'll have a connection out to Larkin as well. Interior, there's been a lot of self-help construction in that facility over the years. So that all has to come out. I don't think any of it was permitted. And it's not, I wouldn't use it that way. We will add a kitchen area and a dining area, and we'll also add barracks for current future personnel. We were toying with the idea of putting the barracks above one of the bays, make a second level. It's just, the structure is just not, it's not tall enough to actually accommodate the requirements that would entail. So these are all approximate costs from the cost estimate from the feasibility study. Design will be about $250,000. That's geotechnical included. Because this facility was not built as designed as a first responder, the geotechnical report that was done back in 1994 is invalid. So we gotta go redo those numbers. And part of it is, Chief mentioned it, the 5,000 foot addition capability to the north. We'll get some soil data up there as well to make sure that whatever we put up there, we can do. That is not in this current contract in the design or the construction costs. That would be an added separate cost. So these numbers that we're going over are just for the current facility, current footprint. Structural, we have to strengthen some of the connections on the roof, and it's actually not seismic that governs, it's wind, oddly enough. Site work, so, okay, you know, we gotta do the parking lot, we gotta get the street access, and then the interiors and finishes, $700,000, doors, fixtures, flooring, roofing. Both roofs need to be redone, it's time anyway, it's a 30-year-old building. And then mechanical, electrical, plumbing, getting all that in there for essentially a glorified warehouse up to a first responder. And then anticipated costs, above that, construction management, designer, construction support, material increases, contingency, all just depends on when we actually get to build this thing over the next couple of years. So the total.
So in total, we gonna? Okay. I thought you were moving on, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I've got it. It's on
your notes.
It's right over here. Actually, you took that part out of my slide.
Oh.
So the total cost is about $4.5 million for design, construction, and outfitting this fire station. Fire station that you see up on the screen is, which station is that?
It's Station 5 in Santa Rosa. It's projected to finish this year. This was the closest that I could find as far as square footage and similarity. This one's like 10,800, and ours was, I think, 10,700, so it's really, really close. But this has been a large project for the Santa Rosa Fire Department and the city there. Roughly started around 17.3 million and landed at 21 million to actually get it done. So $21 million to build a fire station, you know, to kind of meet that size that's
the ground
currently
up.
existing.
Versus 5 million.
4.5, and that includes everything. Obviously approximate numbers, but we've been working close on, you know, hose lockers, lazy, you know, chairs, all those types of things, you know, to outfit the facility. So all that is included in there as well.
Okay, good. Encouraging.
So we're asking you tonight to provide direction to staff whether we go forward with 2000 Challenger Avenue as the future public safety facility number 2 site, which would include design and engineering, be about 9 to 12 months from the word go to get that. Target application for CDBG grant is gonna be fall, so the next cycle, and we'll have a shovel-ready project for that. Target construction for later 2027, target construction completion summer of 2028. So it'll be funded with CFD, which is?
Community Funding District.
Community funding, that's the Melrose.
Melrose.
And then the CDBG grants that we talked about earlier. And staffing's a long-term challenge that I'm happy to let Chief Tens talk about.
Okay.
So this is a, as we were mentioning earlier, the CDBG grant, the importance of, I mean, obviously, if we were fortunate enough to get a storm drain grant this go around, which the city drastically needs, we'd we've already talked about making sure we got that expended down, so we'd hopefully be eligible to apply for this type of a grant in the next go around. Obviously, there's never any guarantees. Even if if we're eligible to apply this go around, there's no guarantees. I mean, the numbers you saw, there's only $27 million to go around statewide. It's not a lot of money.
Right.
But if we were able to attain that, say $3.5 million, and we had $1 million in our CFD, we could probably cobble it together to fund this, and then ultimately then construct it. So it's kind of a 3-year plan. You know, design and construction, design, engineering, architectural, apply for funding, then construction. So that gives us 3 years then to really work on the biggest problem, which is obviously staffing.
Okay.
Then the other 2 options, so that was alternative 1. Alternate 2 is provide direction to look for a new site, either greenfield build or renovation like this. Alternative 3 is status quo.
Okay, looks like we have some questions from council. If you're ready. Councilman Johnstone's first up.
Thank you. You already know I would like to make a motion to move forward with this. No, I'm super excited about this. Chief Tins and I have had discussions on this, and I think that we are both on the same page as far as the need for it. It's a perfect location. It's centrally located. Obviously, it's in my district, but I anticipate, you know, Orville expanding and growing probably quicker out in that area, so it's a definite need. There's also some possibilities of the airport use, helicopters, those kinds of things that we had discussions about too, so maybe we can get some buy-in from CAL FIRE maybe. It can be upgraded, you know, even it's already, the structure is already there, but there is room for upgrades and additions if and when I anticipate there will be over the next 20 years. So I just think it's a win-win. I think for $4.5 million compared to, what, $30 million?
Yeah.
I don't see there being any downsides to it.
Well, point taken. Yeah. Vice Mayor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, Councilwoman Johnstone's kind of already alluded to a couple of my kind of questions and comments. Given its proximity to the airport, can you make a case for like a nexus between this facility and somehow cooperatively with FAA grant monies? Just a thought. Then additional, would this also provide some leverage perhaps to make it more attractive to CAL FIRE into the future for perhaps using the airport as an, you know, an operational facility. With this, as using or making this available, make it more attractive. Just to add to the, I mean, I'm in total agreement with what's been expressed already.
Absolutely. State resources are strategically placed about 20 minutes apart, but we do have helicopters on contract, and I think, you know, we have 2 in Chico. To me, it makes sense to put 1 in Orville, but I got to convince my boss of that. But I don't think it's too hard to do. There is a strong need for air resources in the south part of the county. We use them all the time, and minutes count with that. So I think that, you know, there's more discussion to be had on that, but that's at a higher position than me. But I have breached the conversation, and it seems like there would be some support for it, for sure.
My comments are real quick. One of the other things to factor in, and I'm agreement with the location, but the other thing that happens out there is we've got a lot of recreational activity that happens on Sundays, and that's a lot of demand. You have the clay pit recreation area where off-roaders are running. You have the Ray Broke shooting range. You have the After Bay with just regular boat and recreation. You have the northern part of the After Bay, which is windsurfing location. Then you have the Wilbur Road activities with the remote control airport that they have remote control planes. So there's a whole lot of activity that happens out there on a weekend. So it's a little far distance for us to respond to those kind of things. And there's been things have happened over the years. So it just makes a better precedent for the whole city to have this facility. Plus it makes, I think, an attractive recruitment for new homes to be built out there, because they want to see, you know, we're going to have police and fire nearby, and that's always a big deal. So I think this plan's a great idea. It's a good way to move forward and step down the path. The lucky thing is we've got a nice building that we can invest in and really turn the dollar here for the taxpayer here and keep the costs minimal, because I think your comparison of a fire station at, you know, $20 to $30 million is very real. I've seen others that cost even more. And even if you got it donated, it's still that cost. So I think this is a great plan to move forward. Thank you all. Councilman Weber's in the queue.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So when Councilmember Johnstone and I met with you, and you were outlining this and showing us this response time maps, it was eye-opening, you know. And the amount of coverage that we will get, enhanced coverage, right? For not only out there where it would be, but also to, like, if you would have like circles that would overlap in the other coverage areas, right? It's gonna be a dramatic increase in capability to respond to everything that the mayor just talked about and so much more. So we were thrilled with the proposition. That's why we asked Mr. Ring to put it on so we could hear this formal presentation. So I fully support this. Fully support officially designating this as our second public safety facility. Development growth are happening, right? You mentioned upwards of 1,000 homes. We've had many conversations about a CFD, you know, and what that looks like to develop. We know that there's developers on board that they've got at least 200 lots ready to go right now and several hundred more in the pipeline, right? So, you know, it's going to happen, especially west of town in this exact area. That's, you know, because this is like almost like the last frontier of development, right? You know, everywhere else in the community's been developed largely. I mean, we got some south stuff down toward Ophir Road, but mainly it's west. So we need to build our infrastructure capacities with that development, right? You know, and our ability to respond to meet the need of the growing population. Fire and police are pivotal, not optional, right? You know, and if we're ever going to build anything out there, you know, that we need to have that trust with the people that we're supposed to service out there. You know, Public Works will be another one where, you know, they need to know that the roads and sewers are going to be taken care of, all that stuff as things develop, right? So I second Councilmember Johnstone's motion to go with option 1 in directing staff to move forward. And let's put a big old, you know, if this goes forward, let's put a big, beautiful sign out there. Yeah. A big, you know, future site, future home of, you know,
Good idea.
right?
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, big, beautiful, you know, shiny sign. And then let's not let that sign rot and grow faded in the sunlight. let's give our people something to be very proud of.
Absolutely, thank you.
Good comments. I want to add too that the city made a commitment to have a Mellows Rouge Community Facilities District out there. And the folks that are out there have been paying for this.
Yeah.
And it's time they get something for their money. So, I mean, we made a commitment and it's time for the city to own it up, so.
Mr. Mayor, I should add too, and I forgot to mention this earlier, is that it takes us 8 to 10 minutes right now to get out there.
Right, the response time
And it
is,
depends on traffic.
yep, that's true in this town.
And that is a long response time when we have a family member or friend down on the ground.
Especially to a residential area. A little different commercial, but when you're looking at residences and people, that's too long.
become hours in those
Yeah.
situations, right?
Yeah.
I can attest to that personally.
I especially understand you had a pretty high Halloween population.
In my housing area, we have thousands of kids. I love it.
That's cool. All right, gentlemen, we don't need a vote on this, it's just,
It is an action item
Calls
for
Okay.
directing
I first
to move
did,
forward with
Second
one particular
did.
option, so I would.
Second, would you like me to call the roll?
do we have any cards on this item?
We do not.
Okay, yeah, call the roll.
Motion passes.
Yeah,
6
thank you,
yes.
gentlemen. Good job, thank you for the
Good
presentation.
job, Councilmember
Yeah.
Johnstone.
Yeah.
Fighting for your district.
Number 10, is that next? The light, Montgomery Street, light pole replacement update. Can you give us the update, please, sir?
Just a quick update, because I know there's been some just questions about, whenever we lose a light, especially on a main street like this, there's questions about what's the status of it. So ultimately, we went through the process. I think the car ended up hitting us back in August, was it?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, the city went through a process with the driver's insurance on this vehicle, and we obviously there's other partners that were also involved. There's a building owner, had their building damaged as well. So we got all that worked out. We're going through the process now of replacing this light ultimately, it's going to be moved over about 5 feet from where it's at right now. But it's going to be a new light, new base, and it will be beautiful. And,
Okay.
I know if you looked at there recently, the tree stumps were recently ground out, and we're talking communication with the building owner, not so we don't get in each other's way. He is actively doing the repairs on his building right now, and then we'll be following up in the near future on the installation of the new pole.
Any questions from council? Any cards on this item?
None received.
Okay, that was information only, right?
Yep.
Yep, all right, thank you. Item number 11, consideration adoption of the 2026 master meeting calendar.
I move we adopt.
I'll second.
Call the roll.
Motion passes 6 yeses, 1 absent.
That's, got one, any more non-agenda items to be submitted? Any cards, Kayla?
None received.
All right. Future agenda items from council.
Yes.
Councilman Johnstone.
Actually, this is a question maybe rather than a future agenda item, but what is that? What is, right, by doctor, the dentist over there?
Dr. Rocky.
Dr. Rocky.
On Myers.
Yeah,
Do you know where I'm talking about?
yeah.
I do, yes. I'll look into it.
On
I
Myers
haven't-
Street.
This is the first time hearing about it, so, thank you.
Is it the curb itself? We'll talk, okay.
Yeah.
And the trees have really raised the sidewalk too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't.
Another issue too, those
Yeah.
stumps that are in the sidewalk.
We need to, yeah.
That is a hazard for sure.
I know that some of our stumps are waiting for changeover. I know down on Feather River, they were waiting to install the trees at the right planting thing. I know by the cemetery thing, so. All right, any other future agenda items? See none. Any correspondence received? Oh, Councilman Weber, excuse me.
Yeah, thank you. So Vice Mayor Smith and myself, along with Brian Wong and a couple other community members, attended the ad hoc committee presentation that they've been going over the code. And something was brought up during that meeting that I thought was worth us looking into, and it's called the Mills Act. And the Mills Act, loosely, I know very little about this. I've done very little research, but the Mills Act essentially would be an agreement that the city could enter into with the owners of historic buildings in order to potentially realize a reduction in property taxes, okay, through an agreement. Now, I like giving credit where credit's due. That was actually brought up by Natalie Sheard. And so I think it's worth us kind of exploring what that would look like, because if we could, you know, there's a, and it is not, it could not be in conflict with the community block grants as well. They work in tandem together. So I looked into that as well, but I would like to explore that to see what that looks like. Because when she was talking about it, I did a little research right then. It was very intriguing, very compelling, and I think it could be very beneficial for some of our property owners downtown that have put so much time and energy and valuable resources into rehabbing, rehabilitating, keeping up, and, you know, making sure that these spaces are there for the long haul. So I would like that to be an agenda item if you guys would agree.
I'll second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Move that forward. That's good. I should report out too, we had the Orville Citizens Dam Advisory Committee meeting last Friday, and it was unique because it was actually in-place meeting we had up at Southside Community Center. A lot of discussion on the water control manual, which has been a big deal because that hasn't been updated since the early 70s. And the water control manual basically is going to help us try to avoid any future floods. So a lot of, I don't want to go into all the discussion, but there's a lot of folks working on it, and it's moving forward to have a huge amount of contribution to that. And it was a very good meeting. And then they all went to a floating classroom afterwards. So it was nice to see all the community members that are on that board. I'll also make a note. I made a presentation about the idea of having the mosaic up on the Orville Dam.
Oh, yes.
Well, that panel that I had here, the decorative wood with the firefly on it, instead of me keeping it, I gave it to Carla Nemeth, who is the director of Department of Water Resources, and it's going to decorate her office, which is going to be a nice reminder that she thinks it's a great idea. So we'll be moving forward with trying to make connections on that, and we'll let you know more about it. But I want to say that DWR was very, very excited about that idea because they have a statewide school program. So it would be nice to see that happen. Just wanted to make a mention of that. We had a good meeting. Vice Mayor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, and at that meeting, I also floated out the idea before that particular committee.
No pun intended.
Of course not. Fireworks at the dam 2026. That being said, this Friday at 10 o'clock at Southside Community Center, there'll be the ORAC meeting, Orville Recreational Advisory Committee, where I will again bring that up just to see what the appetite is amongst a larger group of folks. If you're interested in all things recreation in Oroville, show up at this Friday at Southside Community Center ORAC meeting. And so there's more to know. Thank you.
Councilman Weber.
Yeah, real quick, I just wanted to also acknowledge these three lovely ladies that are back here. They were also at that meeting as well. I forgot that you guys were there. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to leave you out of it. I apologize. Okay.
Yeah. Good. Thank you, ladies. And again, thanks for that celebration on Saturday night. That was well done.
Yeah.
Good deal. All right. With that being said, I'm going to adjourn this meeting to the next meeting on November 18th, 2025 at 4 p.m. Thank you all.